Hi there, this is Kevin with CraveOrange.com and welcome to 2014. This is our first quick tip of 2014, but it's about a shoot that we did in 2013. But welcome to 2014. We're going to talk about a shoot here that I did for Michelle Lesniak. She was one of Project Runway's winners. She lives here in town, so I'm able to shoot her line of clothes, which is really cool because there's not a whole lot of fashion here in Portland. It's mostly sportswear and stuff. So it's kind of fun to kind of stretch myself a little bit and push the boundaries. And her line of clothes was called Decay. So that let us do a lot of things. I mean, her stuff was just really beautiful, but there'd be like one little rip or something on the clothes. So she had this really dark and moody kind of feel to it. We talked about a couple of things, going to a funeral home. Couldn't get that okay. So anyway, we went with this whole kind of funeral home-ish sort of look to it. But my job was to not only light the people to make them look kind of a little bit creepy and dead, but I had to light the clothes too. So I always start with one light though. The majority of the time I start with my main light, figure that out, and then I add kicker lights in as I need it. I use the one light and I use the Bowen's sunlight reflector with a super soft diffuser on the front of it. That's hard to say in a sentence, but it's absolutely stunning. It's kind of replaced my beauty dish for almost everything. It just has this really amazing light to it. So I use that as my main, and I brought it in pretty high because on this one I could actually light them a little weirder because they're supposed to be kind of a little dead but still pretty. So I had the light kind of high, and there's a few circles and stuff, and I left it like that because I wanted that feel. I shot it with this kind of bluish color. It's slightly tungsten balanced, but I kind of did some stuff in Lightroom with it. And then what I did is, depending on what the layout was, like if there was two girls, I was working with two girls, so some would have one girl, some would have two, I would add a kicker light to it. So you'd have like a rim light on one side. I had one where I had a grid spot on one side, and then I'd use a egg crate with one of the strip light diffusers on it on the other side. So it just kind of depended on what I was doing, you know, how they're positioned. Because the whole thing with kicker lights for me is I'm trying to separate the person from the background. If they're blending the background, you need some sort of way to delineate the sides of the clothes of the person from the background. So that's when I bring in kicker lights. So like I said, I always start with one light because when you're shooting outside you have one light, and then I bring in other things. So a lot of times the simplest of lighting, even though the lighting looks really elaborate, it's normally 1 to 2 lights with me, sometimes 3, but the majority of the time it's 1. So take a look at behind the scenes and we'll be back. Okay, so the next time you're getting ready to do a studio shoot, just take it down to the simplest that you can. Like I said, start with one light, then add from there. Don't start out, the one thing when you start out with studio lighting, I know, I was there, you want to use all the lights that you have because you spend all this money on it. Start out with one light and then add as you go. It's a really easy progression to go through. One, then oh, I could do this to make, I need to separate the background, then I add another light, and just go from there. So there you go. Thanks again. Welcome to 2014. Kevin Focht, CreativeOrange.com. Take care. Bye-bye.